part to family
Welcome to
affairs.
part 2.
Wow, wow.
Oh crap, I forgot to close the door. Let me close the door real quick.
Okay.
Let me close the door real quick. Welcome to part 2. Mind you, we have sunglasses on, you guys, because this is going to be a very emotional segment.
Turn us on.
Are you going to lead? Because when we had our little commercial break, please don't mind the cockerel. You said you might want to lead.
Yeah, let me lead.
Lead.
So you were talking about how people come from poor backgrounds and like maybe the child is dyslexic and they're just fucked up and like they don't know what to do with this child, and now once he finds out that they're brilliant, now they all act resentful.
Yeah, I think, if you come from a poor background, sorry, we're just going to be very honest. I think a child who's raised in such an environment is extremely depraved because the family is financially unstable, creating feelings of insecurity and low self-esteem in the child. And then also they don't have any hope for the future. The future always looks so bleak. And, parents are sitting around complaining all the time. The mother is crying, I wish I would die. So there's a sense of hopelessness. There's a sense of despair. So once this child is old enough to now start becoming social, the first few years of life you're in the house. Now you're becoming a teenager, you're trying to find your social circles, you have all this insecurity. So I think they become very hateful. Not all people. Very resentful and hateful. So that when they do meet with a person like you who has everything, I mean, there's a lot of hatred that comes from that. There's a lot of
once upon a time you're this needy person. I mean, people loved you for who you were, and now they think that you have this and this. You can act as if you're above, and
I really empathize. But what I do want to say, the hate towards Barbies and punks and banyas, I think banyas also from panyas. I don't think it's right, because even me, who somebody can look at and say, well, you grew up in Lavington, you went to private schools, your parents had cars, even you, your grandfather was an extremely wealthy individual, and you would enter malls and buy whatever you want to buy, and gold watches. I still was insecure because there's always somebody who has more than you.
Exactly.
There were kids who would come to our school with helicopters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up feeling like I was poor. Do you know that?
And then you find someone calling you at you're a punk, and you're like, bro, you've not even seen people who are richer than me, and then you're talking about
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think some people haven't really seen what money can be. Because I would feel really broke. Even the time when I went to South Africa and I'm seeing people coming to school with Rolls Royces, and I had a set budget when I was in uni. Tight. Are we together?
You're on that yours, you have.
Papa was being told to get a job.
I get it. Yeah.
Thank you. Papa was being told you have to start working and get a job. Are we together? There are some people who never have to work when they go to uni, and it's insane. So have you ever felt that way growing up? I know I have, where I felt like I was broke. And I was never hateful to the people who had more. That's why I think this whole panya thing is very individualistic.
Exactly, I know what you're feeling, because like my dad, his father, he was a rich nigga.
Extremely wealthy.
So once my grandpa passed away, financial, he couldn't get that.
Siblings start fighting. This one wants
now
this
he doesn't
piece.
have money, can't give you the life that he wanted to give you. Now the stress is on you. Now you what you are, usinisumbue. Mi babangu alikuwa na pesa, sijui shida yako.
He actually could say something like that to you.
But you just feel
it, the non-verbal.
in their voice and how they're talking to you, and the resentment when they're talking to you about when you go and ask for something.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe him is not been left jack shit. He has to.
But that shouldn't even be your fault, because
he's trying to find a way how he'll get grown to be respected, but he's not seen how he's been respected in the family and shit. Yeah.
So it's like your grandfather had all this money. He was a big man. He feels like he's not a big man because he's never achieved what his father did,
and he's not been left in any responsibility.
No money, no. Actually, you were telling me that majority of the wealth is under your name. And that's what's created such a problem between you and your parents.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'd be driving cars. It's just that they're driving it. I can't see my parents suffer. They'd rather die than
you love him enough to help his ego by allowing him to take it so he can show off.
Just show off and make sure you're not using a matatu. But at the end of the day, when someone asks you why are you walking, I can't go and say ati mimi niko na kifua kuliko babangu. So give me the fucking key, and you know what I'm saying.
But I think also your parent is wrong. I think also that's a bit unfair, because if your grandfather looked and picked you...
if they're pushing me to that point, then, I mean...
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, if your grandfather left the wealth to you and not your father, and now he hates you because of that, and he's still... and I bet he didn't ask. When you went over to take all the assets, the cars... He never asked. When you went to move into your grandfather's house to live there, he never asked. No. And then he just shoves you to the corner. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even care. No. And this little stipend you're getting, he says, anakunywa tu pombe, navuta tu bangi, tukimpea hata ingine.
Everybody will believe that he's a child, and he's a male child. And you can't take him to court with what lawyer?
And by the way, lawyers, I think, in this country also are really sick, because they wait for cases like this where a lot of money has been left.
Exactly.
People are not getting along, and they come in there and they really know how to manipulate, and they end up with everything at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I told you about a friend of mine. He's called Marine. He's always in Kileleshwa. Shout out to Marine. He's okay with me talking about this story. Don't worry. He said it before on my TikTok. His grandfather, the same, was extremely wealthy. When he passed away, there were multiple wives. He came back to the country. Mm-hmm. He was given something kufunicha macho, like 100 million. Yeah. Like, take it as we are sorting out these billions. And then the story went. Yeah, the story went. It went for years. Kidogo files are missing. What is missing? Yes. And you'll find one or two wives have benefited, plus a bunch of lawyers. And it's crazy, because in Kenya, the lawyers, the private law firms, also tie into like the political class. Mm-hmm. So it's all jumbled up and insane. So I'm really sorry to hear that. So I know, when you got into your addiction, what did your parents say? And where's your mom in all of this madness? Like, what did your parents say?
My mom doesn't talk.
She's very quiet. She's benign. She's in the background, and she's always in support of your father.
Yeah, and every time it's, yo, what are you doing with your money? What are you doing with your money? What are you doing with your money?
And I bet when you entered addiction, they were even happy now with your alcohol, because now they have an excuse, even with the extended family. Like, he's a drunkard. He uses drugs. If you give any... Oh no.
Talking shit, all kinds of shit all the time.
That is absolutely disgusting.
Shouting at
horrible.
People all the time.
Even me, and let me tell you, family is a tricky thing. I saw even when I started getting sober, not so many people in my family were very happy. And I looked at it as... some people are happy when you are not a threat, when you're an addict, when you're useless, because now they can really benefit, right? They can really get a foot over you, Mm-hmm. They would make up stories. I remember there's even a time a certain person was saying that I'm in rehab and my parent is not paying for the rehab, so she's trying to raise money for my rehab, mm-hmm. and all the money that was raised, she enjoyed it. Yeah. It is absolutely sick and disgusting. So who do you have resentments against? Like, who can you say, I'm so resentful towards? Like, I blame for my addiction. I blame for my emotional pain. If it wasn't for this people or this company or these lawyers, I wouldn't even have a need to drink.
I would say I would just, my grandpapa, cause if he had just sorted things earlier enough, I wouldn't be, or maybe I wouldn't mm-hmm. be trying to fight for mm-hmm. something instead of trying to, instead of sleeping on the street and just saying, mm-hmm. fuck off, fuck mm-hmm. that shit. Mm-hmm. So really, if I know where a lot of my problems come from, is probably from that relationship.
And I think there should be a learning lesson for anybody who's watching. Even if you don't have great wealth like his family, please make sure there's a will in place that has been clearly read out. Please make sure that you bring all the family members mm-hmm. into a room.
Make sure
turn on a phone and record it.
Everything is read according
Thank you. Take out a phone, record it. Read out in detail. When I die, down to your toothbrush.
Down to my toothbrush that was supposed
Thank you. To be. My toothbrush will go here. My left shoe will go here. The right one. Please, because what you're leaving behind is chaos, and you're being very selfish. And because you're a leader, and I don't know why people with money don't do this, and they even lie. Some family members don't even tell their people, their children, where the money is. Nope. And who will benefit? The banks will benefit. There's a lot of unclaimed assets. the lawyers will benefit, and your children will be left scampering the streets of Nairobi.
Exactly.
So I think you really need to take that and take it seriously. And talking and writing your will does not mean you're signing your death certificate. It just means you're not being selfish, you're being very careful, and you're being a loving, patriarch of the family, And I think that's why other races create generational wealth. Africans, we're so backward in our heads.
We
are always so
really
paranoid.
Low IQ when it comes to our wealth.
And then selfishness. I think also because our grandfathers and these people who made Uber wealth just came out straight into independence.
Exactly.
And they were also really poor in a depraved environment. Yeah. So they had a lot of trauma, a lot of mistrust, a lot of woo. So they even look at their kids like, Muna enjoy tu pesa yangu na vile niliteseka.
You don't know what happened. And most of the blame goes to their direct descendants, not even their grandchildren, just their children.
Thank you. And then you'll find your kids are clueless because I never went through that struggle.
Exactly.
I went to British schools. It's not my fault. You created me this way. So when I say something like, my human needs are Wi-Fi and KFC, and you get annoyed because you're like, human needs are shelter. That's just the way, come on. So I think a lot needs to be done there. And so what type of relationship would you hope to have with your parent?
I just hope that through it all, we just stay in peace and don't beat around the bush and take a stand in your life. Don't always be the one on the ground being kicked. Just want something good for yourself.
Stand up for yourself.
Want something good for yourself and know this is how you're going to get it, and it won't be a royal privilege, or you get it with so much honor.
So he feels very entitled to take from you because that's my father's money.
Yes.
So and I can take it from you, and you're a small boy, and you are just wow. Do you think spirituality could play a role? Like maybe if you pray for it, because he's very spiritual. One of the things that makes our friendship so beautiful and our bond seemingly unbreakable is our belief in God, like Jesus. And we are always praying, and we prayed this morning, we prayed last night. Do you think if your father or your family could turn to God, that could solve the issues? Or do you...
I really hope they get a solution quick.
A solution. Yeah, because a lot of addicts, and this is something I have to say, let me even take these off. A lot of addicts are addicts today because of their families. And a lot of rehabs or treatment centers always try and blame the addict, Oh, this kid is just a headache. I educated this child. I did this for this child. I don't even know. But they never want to look inwards into themselves. What didn't I do? What did I not do that could have caused this? And I know parenting is not a perfect job. Like, there's no blueprint. There's no perfect parent. Every single person is just trying. And once you get to my age, you'll realize they're just people like you trying to do something. But I think healing will begin in accountability. Once they can take accountability and say, this addiction, I feel like I also played a role and contributed to it. That's where the healing will begin. There's this African mindset where a parent cannot say sorry to their child, no matter what. And maybe that sorry is what is going to release this child and heal this child. But because you're so tied into your pride and ego and sense of entitlement, you're losing your loved one. You don't want to look bad in
front of people, so you'd rather be the antagonist,
the
abuser, than be the victim.
I think it's terrible.
I see a lot of people are very scared of playing the victim because they see it does a lot of damage to them. But what they don't know is that it's really helping them a lot, because other people will see it and other people won't take that stuff happens to you.
Like me, what 100% released me and got me into recovery, and is just accepting that it's not my fault. A lot of the time it was every rehab I had gone to, every single person was talking to me, even family, Chelimo, stop what you're doing. You're so selfish. I had this uncle who called me a bitch, bro. Can't cheat you. I was so sick, I had constipation. Heroin. How heroin
do that?
Bro, how heroin gives you constipation?
Yes.
I was staying at this auntie's and uncle's house. They called my parent and said, send money, we're taking her to hospital. I had medical insurance. I was employed. So I wondered, why even asking this person for money? But I was so in pain. When we get to the hospital, right, and they pump my stomach and I'm fine, right? They did an enema. And I was telling this auntie, because we were gone, I have my medical card, I have insurance. We don't need money. Yeah. I texted my parent, hey parent, I have my medical card. You don't have to send money. They got so upset with me because they're alcoholics. You know how sometimes these family friends, these woo-woo, they're addicts themselves, but they mask it so well.
They wear a mask, right? So hard.
And they think because they're able to sustain a certain lifestyle, and that lifestyle is sustained by begging, borrowing, lying, conning, that they're okay, you're sick. So I believe that money, maybe they had anticipated to use it to buy alcohol that night and get uber drunk, right? So when I said that to my parent, and I'm so sure that my parent had a conversation with them, she came bursting into the room. Even that money that you think we're trying to steal from you, I've sent it back to your parent. Look, I'm like, what are we doing? I'm really sick right now. Then they came and told me, we want a drug test. Now they told the parent, we think she's on drugs. Now because the money has been sent back, I'm no longer loyal to them. And they don't know me anymore. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing a drug test. I've just had an enema. And anyone who's ever had an enema, you know, it is so physically exhausting. I just needed to pass out, right? I didn't want no blood work, and I'm scared of needles. Unnecessary. I know I'm using heroin. Everybody knows. Why do you want to poke me? So they left me in the hospital. They left me in Aga Khan. I swear down. And they always keep lying and say that I told them to leave. They left me after making me fuel their Prado. They didn't even have fuel in their Prado. I was saying I'll go to hospital on my own. And a hospital that where the doctor I really like called Mary Immaculate in Lavington, where I grew up. Yeah. They thought I was trying to lie to get drugs, but I'm sick, bro. They made me put 1,000 bob into their Prado to get me to Aga Khan.
No.
I swear down. And then when I got back, finally I woke up after 3 hours, realized I've been left in the hospital. I had I think I had 500. I had swiped with using my card. I got a taxi because I was sleeping in this this aunt and uncle's place. All my stuff was there. When I take an Uber back and I drive into the compound, it's probably like 11:30 at night. I open the back door in the kitchen, and my uncle is in the living room, and he looks at me and he says, "You bitch! You bitch! What are you bloody fucking doing to my brother, you bitch?" And I knew that bitch was not because of anything I had done as per se, but because the money that was sent for my treatment had to be sent back, and this person is an addict, you know? And I would always ask myself, you know how in your family they're addicts? They're definitely. And I'm not talking about a blood uncle. I'm talking about, you know, these people who come around you and now exactly. They're addicts, and then they blame us for becoming addicts, you know? But growing up, all I saw are people drinking. You get what I mean? Like when I go to kids' parties today, I tell parents, you guys have no idea what you're doing. It's a 3-year-old's birthday party. There's alcohol everywhere.
Exactly.
The kid is turning 10 years old. Ati bring for kina auntie their specialty. We know it's alcohol. People are smoking. You know, children never learn by what you tell them, but they learn by what they see. So sometimes when your kids are addicts or people develop addiction, please, you have to look into yourselves as families, as parents. You know what I mean? Accountability starts there. So me, that's my last word, you know, please. And we're not judging. We're not blaming. We want to start the healing process. That's why I keep telling you, we should start a company called The Healing Company, bro. The Healing Company! Where we go get a bunch of families, they're addicts, and just say, let's hug.
Just chill.
Let's hug. The healing. The healing. It's not your fault, Maingi. It's not your fault, but it's happening to you and it's your life, so you have to take control. As much as it's not your fault and we have a list of people we can blame, we also have to blame ourselves. We also have to say, you know what? I allowed this thing to happen. Yes, I have every reason to drink and use drugs, but I allowed it to go this far. And I only have my life, and I'm a grown-up, and I have to take charge and control and make it better for me. And that's how you get back inspired. So, do you have anything else to say? You're telling me I want to lead. This is the last segment. This is part 2 done. Come for part 3, mother suckers. There's a part 3 and a part 4, right?
Yeah, part 3, part 4,
but we're going to shoot that next week, I think, right?
No problem.
Boom. Okay, bye.